All right, so last week what we learned about was this is our quadratic function. Okay, so when we have a quadratic function and we're trying to translate it, there are three different variables. There's an a, an h, and a k. So we've yet to learn anything about the a. That's going to be on Wednesday. Last week, we focused on the k part, which is our vertical up or down. And then h, which is today and tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on moving left or right. So our k is going to be up or down. And the h inside of the parentheses focuses whether we move left or right. Okay, so if you didn't do the Ed puzzle yet, that is okay. The Ed puzzle talks a lot about just the h. Okay, k is what we did last week. So to give you an example of what we did last week, if we have y equals x squared and then plus 3, because it's not inside parentheses, this means we are moving up 3 units. Okay. Now, when asked for the vertex, so if this is a normal graph of a parabola, which obviously is very not nice, doesn't look that nice. Okay. If I wanted to graph y equals x squared plus 3, what I would do is, if normally it starts at the origin, I would go 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm doing. Translation is we're moving it up. I'd put a little point there and I just sketch it. Okay, nothing fancy. Okay, so our vertex, our new vertex, instead of it being at the origin, it's now moved up 3. So our vertex is 0, 3. So you notice that here our y has changed because we're just going up or down. So if we have y equals x squared minus 5, okay, no parentheses, so we're still focusing on the outside. This is a negative, so we are moving down 5 units. So if I wanted to graph that, instead of being at the origin, and instead of going up 3, I would go down 5. Okay, and this is just a rough sketch. So on Thursday, you were given an assignment where you had to sketch it. So if you weren't sure about the vertex or graphing, this is what you would do. So now this vertex would be 0, -5, because we've moved down 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, -5. Okay, so that was for last week. We're going to learn in the video what we talked about last week if you were at the live session. This can get a little confusing because of this negative sign. So this is a formula that we're inputting into. So this negative, okay, if I have y equals this. Okay, so x minus 5, all in parentheses, squared. Okay, so what this is actually saying is this 5, okay, so if your number, so if h is greater than 0, you're moving to the right. Okay, if h is less than 0, you're going to move to the left. Okay, so how do you know if your h is greater than 0 or less than 0? If you automatically look at this and say, oh, this is negative because it has a negative sign, that is incorrect. Okay, this is actually a positive 5 because all I did here from this formula to here, we kept the x and we kept the minus sign. We changed the h to a 5. So even though it does look like a -5, it is a positive 5. Okay, so this would be moving right 5 units. Okay, and like I said last week, when you see parentheses, you can kind of almost think opposites. So if it looks like a -5, just think, okay, that is positive. Positive goes to the right. So if I was to graph this, just like before, a regular parabola goes through the origin. Okay. This parabola would go 5 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a little dot, and I'd sketch it. Okay. So now the vertex, instead of again 0, 0, now it's 5, 0. Because I moved 5 times and then I didn't go up or down. So the y value doesn't change, only the x value, because we shifted to the right 5. So 5, 0. So now if I have y equals x plus, I don't know, let's say 4 squared. Okay. So it's inside the parentheses. So this is going to show us a left or right switch. Okay. In parentheses, you either go left or right. Outside parentheses is up or down. All right. So since it is now a plus sign, we think, oh, it's positive. It's not positive. Okay. The original form was x minus h. So the only way to make it become, if it's originally in the form of the minus sign, the only way to make a minus sign into a plus sign is this was probably x minus a negative 4. Okay. So a negative 4 with then a minus sign is how it ends up getting switched. Okay. So that's the theory behind it. That's the explanation behind it. If it's easier for you to just think opposite, just think opposites. Okay. So this is really, although it says positive, okay, it is a negative, and if it's less than 0, which negatives are less than 0, we are moving 4 units to the left. Okay. So if I graph that, okay, my regular is here at the origin. I would move 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. My vertex would be a negative 4, 0. Again, it's a negative 4 because we moved to the left, and we saw here it's really a negative